podcast.
All right, 3,
2, 1.
What's going on, Fight Bros podcast listeners? Coming back at you guys. It's been a month, a whole month since we posted a podcast. Probably a few months since me and Albert did a podcast together. Yeah, I think the last one we did together was the St. Albans one, so that's been a long time, man.
Gosh, man. I couldn't even remember the last one we did.
Yeah.
You know, I've been so busy with this overseas secret spy stuff that, you know, it was just hard to make time to come back to Virginia.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we've definitely had a busy past couple of weekends, guys. That's why nothing's really been posted in a month. Our guy Albert, the fight bro, he is getting married here in December.
Woo.
So yeah,
I've got 3 weeks from Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming up quick, man.
He's busy getting married, getting his masters. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're just coming fresh off a bachelor trip, man.
It was a fun trip.
We was down in West Virginia ripping it up on the 4-wheelers.
Yeah.
Hatfield and McCoy trails, baby.
It was a blast, man. And we might be going back.
Oh yeah.
In 2 weekends. It was a fun weekend, man. I really got to enjoy it with everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was definitely fun. Got me out of my comfort zone. I had never four-wheeled or did any dirt biking or anything
but you
like
did
that.
good.
So, yeah.
Well, the thing that surprised all of us was you going 60 miles an hour on a four-wheeler. Not even like a side-by-side, but just a four-wheeler.
Shh. Mama might be listening to this, man.
Yeah, Missy Burks. I said 16.
Yeah.
No, it was fun, man. We had a blast. I want to go back just to relieve some steam, you know?
Yeah. It'd definitely be fun to go back just because now I'm comfortable with those trails and stuff, so that anxiety won't be there as much anymore.
There will always be a little bit, but that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I think we really got to enjoy ourselves.
So yeah, guys, if you don't know, if you haven't tuned in before, I am Marcus Burks, and this is Albert Walters, as always.
Hey, happy to be here, guys.
And this is MMA Show number 47, coming up on that big 50 here soon. But yeah, guys, we haven't really had too much to go on since that Colby Covington-Usman pay-per-view a little bit back. That's kind of a reason why I haven't been pushing to do podcasts so much lately either, because there hasn't really been a whole lot going on. But we've got some stuff that's been happening in UFC here lately. So let's start out right off the bat. UFC, they've been releasing some folks lately. Probably the biggest person that just got released was Kevin Lee.
Wow.
He was one of the top 10 lightweights when he was competing in the lightweight division. He was top 15 welterweight. Like this has been a really good guy, and it kind of came to a surprise. So I don't know if you've seen this, but a few weeks ago he got suspended by Nevada, but the Nevada Athletic State Commission.
Okay.
He had been prescribed Adderall by his doctor, but he did not get the clearance with the state commission for that. So he got suspended for 6 months from competition because of Adderall, or I guess like unofficial Adderall use under their supervision. So yeah, he got that, and then here we are a few weeks later, and he's getting released from the UFC, which really surprised me because I just felt like this guy has such a bright future.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember kind of our big introduction to him, but he was fighting. I can't remember the guy's last name. His first name is Mike, but he was fighting him a couple of summers ago, and this is kind of where Kevin Lee got his popularity, I guess. He was all swagged out at the press conference, and he told that guy, he said, I bet your mama got tickets to the fight. And I don't know if you remember this, but that guy, his nickname's Mike the Maverick, I think, but he just did not like Kevin Lee saying that. And he was like, "You're not gonna talk about my mom." And then they came at each other like during the press conference, like sprinted at each other.
Yeah.
But that's kind of been the big surprise to me is I just felt like he was young, he was good. I mean, he's had some losses lately, but I mean, daggone, he lost to Tony Ferguson. He lost to the current lightweight champion, Charles Oliveira. I mean, he's been fighting the killers in that 155-pound division, and he just lost a tough fight to Daniel Rodriguez, which is a tough 170-pounder. And I just felt like, Kevin Lee, man, he had the looks. He had the swag. He could talk, and he had the
attitude.
He had the skill to go back with it. So I just felt like I don't agree with this decision.
So is it a suspension or did they release him?
No, they released him.
Because of the suspension?
Yeah, so he said that he signed when he fought Oliveira, he signed a new deal. So I think he said he had 3 fights left on his contract, so they released him. Jeez. So you know how that goes when you get released, they got to pay you because you still got fights left on your contract. So they got to pay you for what you didn't get to work for.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he did like an interview with Ariel Helwani and talked about how they let him know that he was released by email. He said that the letter on the email said it was November 27th is when they wrote the letter, but they didn't send the email till like December 2nd or something. So
that's professional.
Yeah. I mean, a guy that I think he said he headlined 8 UFC main events. Fight nights, not necessarily pay-per-view, but I mean to let a guy like that go by email. I mean that's just, but
Yeah, not have the decency to tell him face to face.
Dana can be an entertaining guy at times, but stuff like that, man, it gets under your skin. Mm-hmm. Which that's not just in sports. A lot of jobs have issues like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's kind of your thoughts on them letting him go? I know you probably you've had to watch Kevin Lee a little bit.
No, I have. And he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
My thought is that I feel like they honestly should have just honored the suspension and went on with it. Honored the 6-month suspension from the Nevada State Athletics Commission. And then said, okay, when that's over, we'll work out during this time, let's work out a deal where you can have your prescription, but you're under their approval, and then we'll get you back in the game. Because he's a great fighter, a lot of great potential, great entertainer all around. So I think it was a poor move on their decision. Yeah,
and see, he's probably going to be the top free agent. I think every MMA company is going to want him here. He's going to have his option if he wants to go to PFL. I think he said his 6 months runs out in February. So he'll be eligible to fight in February. So he can fight for PFL. I would say Bellator, but Scott Coker last night during their event said that he was happy with the roster they had. So he expressed he was not interested in Kevin Lee right now.
Wow.
Which is interesting because it's like, okay, as Bellator, you're interested in all these like 40-year-old UFC heavyweights, and you'll take them, but you won't take somebody who's Kevin Lee's 29 in his prime. He's coming off 2 knee surgeries. He had double knee surgeries and came back in like 8 months. So he's I would say don't give up on this guy yet, but I think Kevin Lee's the best is yet to come for him. I do think we probably see him in PFL.
Yeah, I'm just surprised Bellator didn't want him.
Yeah, I would like to see maybe him and Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis is in PFL now. I think that'd be a good little entertaining fight for his PFL debut. Anthony's not really competing for a title in PFL right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on, man. Jon Jones, he stays in the headlines.
I heard about this.
Yeah, so Jon Jones, he got in some trouble. There was some footage about where his wife or girlfriend, fiance, I don't know what she is to him, but called the police, said he was being aggressive, and I think they released the call. I never listened to it, but I've heard some interviews about it. He was yelling, and his daughter was yelling in the background, scared little girl. So, very not what you want to see from the GOAT, as a lot of people like to call
refer
him.
to him.
And so, yeah, he still has his day in court for whatever that situation is, whether he's guilty or not, who knows.
Yeah.
They'll figure that out. But his head coach, Mike Winkeljohn, said that was enough, and they made him leave JacksonWink, which is a very big MMA gym.
Yeah. Well, I think that's smart. You just don't want to have an affiliation with anybody who is accused of these actions.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the decision by the coach. I'm not one to like kick somebody while they're down, but it's like, the drug or not the drug. Well, he has had some coke issues in the past.
He had some drug
but
issues.
The steroid issues, I mean, that wasn't once, that was twice. I think maybe even 3 times. With the Daniel Cormier situation. I mean, if it happens once, maybe a tainted supplement or something, but it just keeps happening, and then, when he was driving under the influence and hit that pregnant woman in her car and stuff, it just keeps adding up, and this can't happen.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because UFC, because of his status, will keep giving guys like him and Conor McGregor, they'll just keep giving them a pass. It doesn't matter what they do. Conor's punching elderly guys at the bar.
Yeah.
But somebody like Kevin Lee, I mean, literally doctor prescribed Adderall. You release this guy over that.
It's not a performance enhancer.
Yeah.
Unless you're taking it during before your performance.
Yeah, so that's what it was treated as, because I guess, I guess they tried to act like, because of the focus part of it, that it was a performance enhancer. But
it actually, that's the drug by design. It's a performance enhancer, but it's got a short lifespan. Some of them are fast acting, some of them are slow acting, but nonetheless, any of them will not give you any sort of stimulation in any longer than 6 hours.
Yeah.
So if you take it yesterday, it's over. It's done. So if you're fighting today, what you did yesterday isn't going to affect you as far as Adderall. So that's why I don't actually agree with this. This at all. It's not like steroids where that gets you more jacked.
Oh, yeah.
And you permanently have that, that growth. This is just a focus drug. Helps you focus, and that's it. So he could focus more during the day, do a better job, and then when it came to fighting, as long as he wasn't taking it, I don't see the issue.
Yeah, and see, this is with Jon Jones, with the coach letting him go. This is kind of, Jon Jones went on a kind of tirade the other day on Twitter, just pretty much bashing his coach, saying that he, Cowboy Cerrone used to train there. And, I don't really think this was more of an issue Cowboy had with any of them, but he went and started his own gym called Cowboy Ranch or whatever. He built a facility on his ranch. And that's so, I think one of the more notable fighters that fights out of his camp is Daniel Rodriguez, who I just talked about beat Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
So, he's starting to get some guys over there. And Jon Jones claimed that when he started that Winkeljohn told all the people at his gym that if he caught them over there training, even if they were just stopping in, that they wouldn't be welcome back at his gym. Which I don't know if I believe that or not, but
why does that have to do with Jon Jones's current situation?
Yeah, well, that's what Jon's just kind of doing a tell-all on Twitter about situations that went down.
Putting secrets out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, but, one of Jon's points that may be valid is he claims that posters of him are still up in that gym. So he claims that they're still trying to get people to come in the gym based off his popularity. So if that's true, then, those posters need to be taken down. They don't need to be selling any T-shirts or anything.
Yeah.
Making money off his pop-up.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah.
And see, this sucks because...
But in all honesty, if you wanted to if that gym had their own Hall of Fame and their greatest fighters that they've had, they technically could still include him because he was there for a long time. He made a great name for himself. So you could say, we had Jon Jones here for I don't know, call it 50 years. Not really, but call it whatever the time amount was. And you can say that and then be like, but we had to drop him because of his actions. And you can still legally do that because that's true.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're like, oh, he's still here.
Mm-hmm.
If you come train here, you'll see him. Like, nah, that's
Yeah.
that's illegal.
And see, this sucks, man, because every time, like, he's been out forever. He's been, you know, putting on weight, getting stronger, because he's making his heavyweight debut. He's supposed to be making his heavyweight debut soon. And something just comes up every time.
Yeah.
Every time. You know, we wanted to see him versus Francis Ngannou. That's all we want to see. Like, take our money. We got it for you right here, right now.
Yeah.
That's all we want to see is him versus Francis Ngannou. And now that fight's in jeopardy because of Jon's situation. You know, legally he's going to have his day in court. And then it's in danger, too, because Francis now has to face his former teammate, Gane.
No way.
Yeah. So Francis is defending his title against Gane in a few months. And Gane is the best well-rounded heavyweight in the division right now. You know, Francis has got the athleticism, the knockout power, but Gane can beat him. And I mean, it really increases his chances of beating Francis because he's trained with him forever. And Francis's original coach is Gane's coach. So all the secrets and everything, you know, I think it's going to be tough. So that fight for Jon and Francis that we've been wanting to see for a year and a half now is in jeopardy because of both situations.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's on Jon more because
he's the one who might go to jail.
Maybe the fight would have been made if he wouldn't have been keep getting in all this trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, hopefully we see that fight because, you know, if he really could move up to heavyweight and beat Francis Ngannou, beat Gane, beat Stipe Miocic, because Stipe wants the Jon Jones fight. Because Stipe, you know, he just got knocked out by Francis and hasn't fought. You know, Stipe, he's kind of been known, he fights about once a year.
Yeah.
But he wants to come back against Jon. I think that makes sense. I
don't think it's a bad fight.
I say, hey, you know, Jon wants to be welcome to the heavyweight division. I think Jon's got a very good chance of winning against Stipe. I mean, Jon looks huge in his Instagram posts where he's been bulking up to get to heavyweight. And I mean, Daggy's had almost a year, probably even more than a year of training to get to heavyweight. So, I mean, you know, him and Stipe would be a fun fight if that could happen. But he's kind of saying Stipe, oh, you know, he just got knocked out.
Yeah.
You know, kind of treating it like that. But, you know, hopefully in 2022, you know, because of everything, it might be the end of 2022. But hopefully we will see Jon Jones versus Francis. Hopefully. You know, consolation prize.
I'd rather see him versus Francis than against Miocic.
Yeah. You know, Stipe's 39. And I don't think age is a problem, but, you know, had some hard fights against DC, got knocked out 2 out of his last 3 fights. You know, 2 out of his last 4 fights probably. But yeah, you know, that starts to add up. But yeah, next topic here. This has kind of been going on for the last few weeks. Nate Diaz, he's got 1 fight left on his contract. He has been wanting to fight it out. I believe he wants to be a free agent. He has stated that he wants to fight in December. He called out a lot of people. He said, give me Tony Ferguson, you know. We all want to see that Conor fight, but, you know, we got to look at it. Conor literally just broke his leg like a few months ago. A broken leg, you probably, even somebody athletic like him, probably at least 8 months.
Yeah.
You know, he called out Ferguson, Poirier. I mean, there's all kinds of fights you could make for Nate Diaz. And you know, he's just got 1 left on his contract. He wanted to fight in December. So this has kind of came out recently. Dana White and the UFC offered him a fight. But they offered him, I never pronounced this guy's name right, Hazmat. And I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a undefeated guy from Russia, and he's just been demolishing people. It's crazy. He fights at 170, fights at 185. I mean, he literally just.
I think we've talked about.
Yeah, the last time he fought, I was out of town, so we didn't get to watch that UFC pay-per-view together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, it was crazy. He picked up, I think I might pronounce this guy's name wrong, but he was the number 11th ranked welterweight, G Lang, and he was one of the first like UFC fighters they brought over from China. Kind of when they brought over a lot of Chinese fighters, he was one of the good ones in that bunch, and it was crazy, man. He picked him up at the beginning of the fight, literally got his back, picked him up. He dragged him over to where Dana White and them were sitting and just started talking to Dana while he's sitting there slamming. He slammed him. I mean, he picked up a grown man like a kid, walked him over to where the announcers and Dana White are, slammed him, continued to ground and pound him and talk to Dana and them. So he's not even looking at him. And I mean, this is the number 11th ranked welterweight.
Jeez.
And so they're offering this guy to Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, I'm a Diaz fan. I don't want to see this. Like, he's got one more fight left on his contract. And to me, y'all offering this, y'all are wanting him to go out looking bad.
Yeah. Because
we already know that I'm a Diaz fan, but I don't want to see him against people who dominate wrestling, who want to take down the whole time,
Yeah.
It's okay if it's somebody like a mixture. Like, I would be fine with a Colby Covington. I know he would have
He's a good wrestler.
He would have the advantage wrestling, but he's going to strike.
But, like, Diaz is just a striker.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's not really, I don't know, it's not really the best fight for Diaz, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Diaz, like, he tweeted, I think this was yesterday, the day before, he was like, yeah, I'm, pretty much saying, hey, guys, I'm trying to fight. I was trying to fight in December. Now I'm trying to fight in January, because he was like, the only fight they would offer me was Hazmat. And he's like, I don't want to fight that rookie right now. He's pretty much saying he doesn't want to fight him because he's a rookie,
Yeah.
But really, we don't want to see him fight, and I don't think he wants to fight him. I'm not saying I don't think he's scared of anybody. He'll fight anybody, but I don't think he wants to fight him because he's going to take that wrestling approach.
Well, it also seems like from his list, he's really trying to fight people who have a bigger name, like Ferguson.
Yeah.
Ferguson's older. He's out of it, so, like...
I think that makes sense.
It's a good fight.
Ferguson's been on a losing streak.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of think he's on his way out of the UFC. Cowboys on their way out. These guys might have one or two more fights left if they keep losing.
Yeah.
But I love Tony Ferguson. I thought when Nate Diaz called him out, that fight made so much sense because
I don't think it's a bad fight.
They both want to do it at 170. It's big names. You can put that as the third fight on a big pay-per-view. Heck, you can put it as the co-main event.
Yeah.
5 rounds non-title fight, and that's going to sell. And I don't get why they didn't do that. I think Dana's trying to hold out on Diaz. He wants him to take the Hazmat fight. If we're going to hold out, let's hold out until summertime and do Nate Conor 3, because that's all we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dana tweeted that, his response to what Nate Diaz said yesterday, he was like, Nate's getting old, and I think, it's getting hard to compete where he's getting old. But he's saying,
getting old.
Yeah, he's saying that because, he knows Nate has one more fight on his contract. Realistically, the rumors have been there that Nate wants to fight out this last fight. Jake Paul's fighting Tommy Fury, that he wants to have a big money fight against Jake Paul. Which, I would rather see him fight more settled fighters, I'll say. Jake's proven he is a fighter at this point. But I would rather see him fight like somebody who's been in boxing for a while.
Yeah.
But hey, man, if that's what he wants to do, I'll tune in. I tuned in for Woodley. I'll tune in for Diaz. But I think Dana's kind of holding out. He knows Nate's going to make a lot of money. If he decides not to fight in the UFC, he's going to make a lot of money. I don't care if that's one of these thriller boxing fights, they'll probably put him on a Mike Tyson undercard or the co-main under Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson and Logan Paul fights or something, Yeah. Diaz is going to get paid, so I think Dana's kind of
Well, he's also got his weed business, so like
yeah.
he's got a lot going for him.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about Diaz going broke.
Yeah, so, you know, who would you like to see Diaz face in his last fight? Hopefully we get to see him in January. It's in Anaheim. That's what he's calling for. He wants, you know, that's close to home for him.
Yeah.
He lives in Stockton, so.
Yeah. You know, I think the McGregor fight would be a fun one. I don't think McGregor would be ready, but that'd be my favorite last fight for him in the UFC.
I think it makes sense. You gotta do it while these guys are, you know,
While you can, yeah.
Nate's Connor's 30. Nate's somewhere between 30. I think he's 35. So you got to do it. These guys are still in their prime, you know.
Yeah.
You got to do it soon. But yeah, I would like to see Connor. I wouldn't mind seeing Colby Covington at this point. You know, I know Nate likes to fight guys who kind of make a buzz, tough guys.
Yeah.
He literally just fought Leon Edwards. He fought Masvidal before that. Colby's proven to be a tough guy. Colby's proven.
Not a bad fight.
He proved against Usman, you know, his striking's gotten good and stuff. So I wouldn't mind seeing Nate versus Colby.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd like to see it if Colby would stand
under
up.
the understanding that Colby's not gonna like grapple him against the fence,
because he's a good wrestler. But it's like also if you're gonna fight Diaz, just stand up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Keep it on your feet. But I see Colby doing some sneaky stuff, and if he's getting rocked, I think he'd go for some takedowns. And it is like Ultimate Fighter, blah blah blah. And like, if you told me, oh well, like whoever wins, like I'm not gonna disagree with that. But it's also like you're fighting a guy who is a great striker, and if you're a pretty great striker too, and you like to say, oh, I'm a big tough guy. Well, if he's rocking you, don't take him down. You know, and that's the stuff that I hate seeing in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah, but I hope we see Nate soon, man. I hope they. It would suck for him to leave UFC, but I want to see him fight this last fight on his contract and, you know, let him see what's out there. So this is still UFC news, but a little bit of music news too. So I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Bryce Mitchell. He is a UFC featherweight, kind of up and coming guy. He's very young. He dropped a mixtape the other day, and I'm going to show you the picture.
Are we going to get to hear it?
Yeah, I'm going to show you the picture right there. What do you think he's singing?
He's on a four-wheeler.
In camouflage.
And it says Bryce ThugNasty Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, you told me it was rap.
Uh-huh.
But looking at that, I honestly would guess that. That'd be some stupid.
Yeah, he looks like us on the four-wheelers the other day, man. But
he looks more honky, but yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of liked this guy when I first seen him in the UFC. His nickname is ThugNasty. And I like him because every time he wins, he calls out, he always calls out Arkansas. He's like, I rep that Arkansas. He loves his home state, man. So yeah, let you listen to this little snippet of it and see what you think.
Pray for direction, a sense of connection, not money and fame and bitches. I want something more, something for real that I feel to the core. I pray and I bow and I worship. I want a true purpose. Here I am, God, and I give you my service. Out of the soil, a fighter emerges. Excel with the.
So
it's kind of, I don't know, man. You could tell it's like a country guy.
Yeah,
but and I've never, like, don't get me wrong, like there's certain times where I like country, certain times where I like rap. I don't think they fit mixed together. Like, there is a market for country rap, but not me, man. I've always thought it was like one of the stupidest combinations in music.
Yeah. So I would say give his mixtape a listen. It's just on YouTube. Like, he didn't post it where you could download it or anything, but he just posted it to YouTube.
Yeah.
I liked it, man.
You liked it?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, you know, with music here lately, I've probably told you, but I've listened to a little bit of country here lately, but I'm just kind of like, I've been listening to stuff like I kind of get a feeling from, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of country music, you know, that they talk about the mountains and different kind of stuff that we grew up to, like yard sales and you know, I've been to Nashville a little bit. I like Morgan Wallen. He talks about Nashville and just kind of like that city life in Nashville. So I like this Bryce Mitchell mixtape because it's real. It's hit his emotions in it. You know what I'm saying? It talked about him, I didn't know he sold drugs and stuff, but it talks about him selling drugs, living in a trailer for a long time.
Yeah.
He might, I think he still does live in a trailer, but, he was talking about it just being bad off. And, I didn't know that he sold drugs and stuff. So that's what I like about it. It's real.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's good.
And that's what I love about music. That's why I don't really stay to a certain genre of music.
Yeah.
Because music's expression.
Yeah.
So that, if you express yourself and I'm like, oh, that's real, I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's country or hard rock or whatever, I'm not picky on music. I mean, I stay more in the R&B and rap lane, but,
Yeah. Well, no, I agree with that completely. I think limiting yourself to one genre, not to sound redundant, but truly is limiting. I think it limits a whole new set of emotions. Now, mixing genres, I don't think is always the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, R&B, that was a very successful mix.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, though, because rap was originally centered around struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So you add in blues, like down beats, R&B can get really nice, and it fits well with the message. These are two things that, just don't go together. Putting ice cream on a steak. It doesn't make sense.
I like it though, man. Just, I wasn't expecting him, and this is kind of judging a book by its cover, but, with the camouflage and all that, I did not expect him to rap that good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really do feel like out of the MMA fighters that have rapped, which, really is just Tyron Woodley,
I was going to say Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, he's good. And, I mean, I know Tyron Woodley kind of has good songs, bad songs, but Tyron Woodley's a good rapper too. But this really surprised me with Bryce Mitchell, because that definitely made me a fan. I really hope that he. I think the song on his mixtape I like is called Dark Kansas or Darkensaw, something like that. Yeah, that's what it is, Darkensaw. And but that's how it's spelled. That's why I said it like that. Yeah, it's called Darkensaw. And I like it. It's really upbeat. It's a workout song. I've been listening to that while I was running.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I would like to see him come out to that in his next UFC fight. I
Yeah.
love that. I loved when Tyron Woodley came out to his
it's hype.
rap song.
It's
like
John
cool.
Cena did
it's like,
that.
That's mine.
It's cool. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to make this whole stadium hype off my words.
This
it's
isn't
also kind of like advertising.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Oh, yeah. And this isn't like the Big Show, We always thought, well, it's the Big Show. We always thought that was the Big Show, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
But this will be Bryce Mitchell,
But John Cena's was his.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyron Woodley. So, it'd be cool to have your own walkout song that you sing.
And, with Triple H, when it was like that time to play the game. I always thought that was Triple H, but it wasn't.
Oh, I knew that was him. No, I thought Big Show's was. I didn't think it was him.
Yeah.
I thought it was meant for, built for him.
Yeah.
Or was it just a generic song?
It was built for him, I think. Yeah. But you still have some, people like R-Truth and some guys that come out to their own.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we'll get into this last topic we got. It's come down to it, guys. We've been waiting for a while to see UFC 269 is next Saturday. Finally, we got Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here. Dustin Poirier's the real champion. He beat Justin Gaethje. He beat Eddie Alvarez. He beat Conor McGregor twice, knocked him out. And then, Conor unfortunately had his leg break in the third fight between those two. But it was going Dustin Poirier's way.
Yeah.
So Justin Gaethje's, people look at him as one of the best right now. That he's going to get the next title shot. But Dustin finished him. So, we're sitting here, we're like, okay, Dustin's the real champion. He just doesn't have the title. But, Dustin chose to fight Conor McGregor for a third time rather than fight for a title.
Yeah.
So, Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler got to fight for that title, and Charles Oliveira won. Yeah. But, let's not discredit Charles Oliveira. He finished Kevin Lee He finished Tony Ferguson. He finished Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, and Justin Gaethje just finished Michael Chandler too. But I mean, this division is just, it can go either way. I mean, we seen Michael Chandler almost finished Oliveira in the first round. We could be looking at Michael Chandler as the champion now. When Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje fought a few weeks ago, Michael Chandler almost finished Justin Gaethje. Yeah. Justin Gaethje ended up finishing him. You know.
It's a great division, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's just so much. And then I forgot to mention this too. I forgot to mention this too. This could be your unofficial title. Beneil Dariush is fighting Makhachev, Khabib's
cousin.
Khabib's guy. It might be his cousin.
Brother, something like that.
But Khabib is in his corner, and Makhachev, everybody's been ducking him, man. Everybody's saying Makhachev's the number one guy, that nobody can beat him. Dariush just had a hard time getting a fight because after he beat Tony Ferguson, Dariush is ranked number 5, so why fight somebody less than you when you're trying to fight for a title?
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally, Dariush could be champion, Chandler could be champion, Gaethje could be champion, Oliveira, Poirier. Am I leaving anybody out?
Someone. I think you're leaving someone out.
Oh, Makhachev.
Yeah,
so any of those 6 guys could be your real champion.
Yeah.
But UFC 269, we are getting Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier.
That's going to be such a good
And we
fight.
need this. But let's start out, man, on the prelims. So we got, and I'm going to mention this fight on the prelims. We got Dominic Cruz and Pedro Munoz. The interesting thing about these two guys is they're fighting on the prelims when they're big names. Pedro Munoz was a contender in the top 10 at one point for that bantamweight division. And they are fighting on the prelims. Over, you know who is fighting over them on the main card? Sugar Sean O'Malley, that is once again not fighting a ranked.
Facing someone unranked.
Once again not fighting a top 15 or ranked guy. So yeah, you got Dominic Cruz, Pedro Munoz.
They're getting swiped, man.
Yeah. So, interesting, you know, Dominic Cruz, he was a very dominant champion before he got beat by Cody Garbrandt. He doesn't fight much. You know, he injuries have kind of held him out.
Yeah.
Pedro Munoz, I think the last time we seen him in the octagon, he might have had a fight after this, but he got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. Last second knockout at the end of the round, which was pretty awesome. So this will be a fun fight. I really don't know. I'm just, you know, this will be a fun fight to watch, but I really don't have a prediction for this one.
I don't either. I'm not experienced.
Yeah,
enough
I don't
people.
kind of watch those guys too much,
Yeah.
but we'll kind of
I think it's funny. Sugar Sean's in the main.
Yeah, so we won't give a prediction on this either. But Josh Emmett, I mean, he was a contender at featherweight at one point. He's fighting Dan Age. That's going to be a fun fight for that featherweight division. That's your main event of the prelims. But we'll go ahead. We'll jump to the main card, giving our predictions for these. So starting out the bantamweight at the opening up the prelims, you got Sean O'Malley, who is he's undefeated, right? But it says 14-1 right there.
Yeah.
But he is fighting some guy named Roland Pava, and he is 21-3. Probably not in the UFC, but you know, that's the tough thing. You know, O'Malley, we want to see him, the way he finishes these guys, we want to see him fight somebody notable.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've heard, you know, he might fight Dominic Cruz. We heard Cody Garbrandt. And none of these fights are happening, and he keeps kind of fighting. Ducking. I don't know about, I don't know. You know, from the outside.
Is he getting offered these fights?
Well, from the outside looking in, it looks to us like he's ducking, but he did say something on an interview a while back. He's getting paid the same amount of money to fight these guys as he is to fight because of the contracts. That he would get the same amount of money to fight this guy that he's fighting, to fight Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
To fight Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
You know, to fight the champion.
Well,
I think they would fix that.
I mean, I don't
yeah.
think it's a bad theory, but
Yeah.
also, like, if you want to say you're the best, man, go fight the best.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause that's kinda-
It sounds like he's ducking.
That's kind of been my thing with him is.
And if you want to make more
know,
money, go fight these people.
His one
and earn
loss.
yourself a name.
His one loss that he doesn't say is a loss was against Cheeto.
Yeah.
Cheeto Vera, Marlon Vera. I like to call him Cheeto just because that's what most people call him, his nickname. But he just fought. He fought Jose Aldo. He's been fighting all these top guys like ever since they fought.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you didn't lose to him, why don't you rematch him? I never understood why that rematch didn't happen. But, they broke it down. The leg kick that Cheeto did near that ankle region caused that issue with Sean O'Malley where his ankle kept turning.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I think he did beat you because what he did to your body injured you, which made you get finished.
Which inhibited you from fighting.
But yeah, kind of prediction on this. I think Sean O'Malley beats this guy. I don't know anything about this guy. Rulin Pava.
I'm gonna go with the other guy.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go there. Yeah, I think
Just for
Sean
fun.
O'Malley. It might be tough. He might get stuck in a fight like he did with the last guy. I can't remember his name, but the last guy. I mean, O'Malley was hitting whatever shots he wanted to. Anything he threw was hitting the guy, but he couldn't finish him.
Yeah.
So I mean, he might get stuck in a fight like that. But I think Sean O'Malley, he'll keep it rolling. And hopefully we'll get to see him fight a contender after this. Next on the main card, Cody Garbrandt is making his flyweight debut. Cody's always fought at 135. He is fighting at 125.
Jeez.
And I did see this. So this is his flyweight debut. He originally was going to fight at flyweight when Demetrius Johnson was champion.
Yeah.
Cody was champion at the time. He had just beat Dominic Cruz, and they wanted to make that super fight happen. So I would have liked to have seen that at the time, but now he is making his flyweight debut, and I did see a picture of him. He's pretty thin. He looked pretty thin, yeah, at 125, which
That's
130,
not a lot of weight,
135 man. For a grown man in your 20s, 30s, that's already
and
light.
These are shorter, more like they're not as broad shouldered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's just not a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
125.
So, I've never heard of this guy that he's fighting, Kai K of France. But
no, I'm not familiar with him.
I think it's going to be a tough fight just because I feel like he's going to,
might be too weak.
He might be depleted a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to go against Cody Garbrandt even though I don't know too much about the other guy. I think it could have the possibility to be a tough fight.
Yeah.
But I do think if he's feeling good, he's going to be the best in that division. If he's good. Yeah, if the weight and everything holds up, hopefully he's not doing like a big cut. Hopefully he's kind of been walking around light, and I do think he's going to have the skills to really do good in that division.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Moving up, we got welterweight. This is a good welterweight fight. You got Geoff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Two guys that are contenders. They're top 15.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not familiar with either one.
Yeah, Ponzinibbio, he got injured right when he just beat Mike Perry, and he was going to start getting contenders, and he got injured and was like out for a year. So he's still a contender, but he just hasn't fought a lot. Neal, let me see who he last fought. The crazy thing about Neal, dude, is he just went to jail the other day.
No.
So that he just went to jail a week before his fight. I think it was for a DUI.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So yeah, he was arrested on a DWI. And weapon charges, but he's still scheduled to fight. Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, he faced Neil Magny, Thompson. So yeah, Neal, his last victory was he's beat Belal Muhammad, which is a top 15. He beat Nico Price, another good guy. He beat Mike Perry. Lost to Wonder Boy by decision. I remember watching that fight. Wonder Boy kind of had his way. And he got beat by Neil Magny. So he's kind of been the guy that's kind of, once he's breaking into that top 8, it's kind of been tough
Harder for him to get past that.
Yeah, but he's definitely a contender, so that's going to be a fun fight. Just judging off of their kind of last fights, I'm going to go with Neil,
Yeah. It's hard for me to give a prediction because I'm just not familiar with
Yeah, you'll have good predictions on these next two, but so moving into what we're buying the pay-per-view for.
Yeah.
Women's bantamweight fight. We're getting another fight. Amanda Nunez. She can't be beat. I don't know. I don't know. They literally brought Cyborg in to make a division. You made Cyborg and Nunez. That was literally Nunez's only competition.
Yeah.
And now she's in Bellator. So you have Amanda Nunez versus Julia Pena in the co-main event.
Nunez all the way, man.
Yeah. And I just think it's going to be another easy night for Nunez. I mean, dude, we always say this every time she fights. It's just easy money.
Yeah.
Like, she's in the octagon maybe a minute, 2 minutes.
And she's had a couple people who kind of like.
She faces some.
Hurt her a little bit, but even then, like, it's still easy money.
Yeah. So, I don't really know what she plans to do. You got Kayla Harrison. She's Amanda's teammate, but she's been floating around. She's the top women's free agent right now. But Dana's kind of making it seem like she's scared to come over to UFC. I don't understand why you would be scared because you're one of the best women in the world, and
I don't think she's scared. I just think there's too much beef there.
Yeah, and
she was already there.
Her and Amanda are teammates. So I don't know if that fight will happen, but I don't know what's going on in Amanda's mind. Are you going to keep fighting these up and coming contenders that they keep throwing at you even though they're not really on your level, and just keep making money and building up your bank account? Or are you just gonna retire sometime soon because they aren't providing you adequate contenders?
Good competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I think it'll be another easy night in the office for Amanda Nunez.
Yeah, I agree.
And then moving on to what we've been waiting for, Charles Oliveira. How many? I think he's won 9 or 10 fights in a row, man.
He's been killing it.
And Dustin Poirier, who's been killing it too. We get to see who's the champion.
Yeah.
We've been saying Dustin's the real champion. Now Oliveira's, he got the belt. He's the, the physical champion.
Yeah. Who are you thinking?
I don't know, man. This is tough.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
Those 6 guys that we named, Oliveira, Poirier, Makachev, Chandler, Dariush, Gaethje.
Yeah, Gaethje.
Any of those guys could be champion. It's really hard to decide. This is just going to be. It's really hard to decide. I've been listening to some people's predictions, and nobody really knows. And that's what I've heard on podcasts. They're like, if you give a prediction on this, it's just opinionated. There's no statistical.
I mean, they're all like, it's close.
There's no statistical
really
analyst that you are gonna I guarantee you the bet line on this is gonna be so close.
Narrow.
Like, you're not gonna make any money betting.
You're not gonna see a huge underdog.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to make a bunch of money on a dog.
Yeah. No, not at all.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira, man.
I guess I'll match that, but I don't really have an opinion.
It's kind of like that 51-49. I just think Oliveira, of what I've seen, I couldn't believe, how he knocked out Michael Chandler. I thought Oliveira was kind of a submission guy.
Yeah.
And, I seen with Kevin Lee, I was like, dag, he can strike too. Then when we see Dag, he can knock out people on the feet. But then we see with Tony Ferguson, Dag, he had Ferguson in all kinds of submissions the whole fight. And that's what he's known for, is his submissions. I think it's ultimately going to come down to, I think Oliveira is probably going to sneak in a submission and finish Poirier.
But, he's proven he's got knockout power too.
Poirier can knock you out too.
Yeah.
If it stays on the feet, I just don't know who would be a better boxer. And we seen Chandler almost finished Oliveira, so I don't see why Poirier couldn't finish Oliveira to start. So I love it. This lightweight division, there's never been I know Conor was champion and stuff, but I feel like, moving forward, it hasn't been more exciting. There's not another exciting division right now.
Well, like, there's no other division that has this many people.
Yeah, and then, Conor comes back in, throw him back in the mix. I'm not saying he's a contender, but for entertainment purposes, it makes this division fun.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it.
Man. Yeah. So, guys, UFC 269. Watch that next week because it's a big fight for that lightweight division. Gonna be coming at you with more podcasts soon. Hopefully post some cryptid ones soon. I'd like to get some of those up, and should have a good podcast with an old teammate talking about basketball and college recruiting and stuff. So hope to get that to you soon as well. But Albert, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a long time, so it's fun. And guys, when you see Albert again, he's gonna be a married man.
I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, thank you all for tuning in.
Oh yeah, guys. Until next time, go Diaz. Thanks for listening to the Fight Bros podcast. If you like what you heard today, like us on Facebook and like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for your support.